Hello everyone! In this video, I will discuss another instructional strategy for mathematics in the intermediate grades, which is the design thinking. The students find learning mathematics most engaging when they are involved in a thinking process that results in an output that can be applied to relevant contexts. The design thinking process engages the students in such a thought-provoking and purposeful activity. Design thinking is a progressive teaching strategy that allows the students to look for real-world problems and finding creative solutions. So students do this by focusing on needs of others, collaborating for possible solutions, and prototyping and testing. So this can be summarized into 5 stages. First is the emphatize. Next, define, then ideate, prototype, and test. So these stages are adapted from the Institute of Design at Stanford University. First, let us talk about emphatize. Under emphatize, understand the audience and have compassion for whom you are designing. So the goal of design thinking is for the students to respond to a particular need, which is a real-world problem. So it is fitting that the first stage is empathy. In this stage, the teacher should be explicit in guiding the students to put themselves in the shoes of others. So it can be through activities like immersive observation and interviews. According to the developmental stages, it is not natural for children in the intermediate grades to be emphatic toward others. It is a common observation by teachers that the students at this level often do not realize that their actions affect others. So applying design thinking in the classroom gives the children opportunity to cultivate empathy. At the same time, their skills for problem solving and empathy are being developed. So that is emphatize. Next is define. Under define, clearly articulate the issue or problem you need to solve. So in this stage, the students define the specific problem or issue that they want to address. So first, the students will identify an audience. So these audience are the future users of the product that they will develop. So their audience can be students, teachers, family members, or just anyone in their community. Then, the students will use the information they gathered from the empathize stage and focus on one aspect of the problem. Take note that it is important that the students are able to identify a true problem. So that is important because it is impossible to successfully complete the design thinking process without a meaningful problem to solve. So that is define. Next is ideate. So under ideate, generate ideas, conduct research, and brainstorm possible solutions. Develop your solutions. So the third stage of design thinking is the generation of ideas to solve the identified problem. So this involves brainstorming and research. So the students are encouraged to think out of the box and produce radical ideas. What sets this stage apart from the usual brainstorming is that all ideas must be written or illustrated. So these ideas are usually written or drawn on a sticky notes, and the students later on organize them into a mind map. So at this stage, the students will be able to apply their mathematical knowledge and skills. Aside from being able to operate their problem-solving skills, they will also be able to apply specific content knowledge like measurement, proportion, geometry, and statistics. Next is the prototype and test. Finally, the students go through a repetitive cycle of prototyping and testing. So what is a prototype? A prototype is anything that a user can interact with in order to later on provide feedback about it. So it can be made easily accessible materials like paper, cardboard, sticky tapes, recycled plastics, and so on. So once a prototype is created, they test it or allow a user to test it and then make improvements or possibly overhaul the design. So it is depending on their observations and the feedback of the user. So in this stage, it is important to emphasize that it is fine to fail at the first attempt. So the trial and error aspect of the design thinking process is glorified because it is believed that students learn many things through their failures. So physical product is important but the process is more important. Even though a physical product is expected output of the design, it should be emphasized that going through the process is more important because it is where the learning takes place. So that is about design thinking. As a summary, design thinking is a contemporary teaching strategy that fosters creativity by allowing students to come up with concrete and tangible solutions to authentic problems that they themselves identified. Thank you for watching and I hope you have learned something.